Throughout history, humankind has had an instinctive desire to improve, to advance. No matter what our position may be, we passionately strive to simply get better. In our quest for progress, we use knowledge and experience from the past to give us guidance and inspiration for future success. For Sonic 1029 and the Play On Street Hockey Tournament, what has been learned and accomplished in years past serves as ammunition for a new triumph. The players who walked the asphalt, those who gave their sweat and blood, will forever be remembered as legends, as giants. This year, the team known as Super Sonic looked to advance further than they had ever gone before, to build on what was gained in the past, to stand on the shoulders of giants. If you need to learn to lose before you can win, Super Sonic did its fair share before breaking their O for Forever play-on record and winning their first game last year.
I think we won our first game ever, like in the history of us playing this sport. First game ever we won. I thought that was awesome.
We wanted to actually, show that we belonged, and we did.
But in 2014, that wasn't enough. So to realize their goal of going further, Super Sonic had to create a competitive team, a group of players that had the skill to compete, the will to at least show up for more than one game. Feisty team stalwarts Rick, Bryce, Tyler, and Daryl formed the core of this year's squad, with former soldiers Taylor, Lucas, and new recruit Dave rounding out the select seven.
I did not read the rules. Full disclosure. And there, it's double-sided, and it's really small, like font and text. This is insane.
Dave has a lot of enthusiasm and not a lot of respect for the rules.
Going into the first game, I was really nervous. Not so much for the game itself, more or less to find a parking spot.
West Edmonton Mall provided the backdrop once again for our heroes, and the continent's largest mall was a hopeful staging ground for the response to the question that dogged them for 12 months. How are you going to top last year? Well, this is the answer on the asphalt. Round Robin Saturday starts off as well as anyone can hope, with Super Sonic handily winning their first two games, doubling the victories of their 7-year history in the tournament with 8-4 wins over Patty and Friends and Team Spec.
We felt like we were on a different level, so we decided that it was okay for patio beers.
I think hanging out at the patio was fun, but I think maybe when that goal went in on Daryl, that one, it kind of rolled from the other end and just sort of tricked him. I thought that was kind of funny. It was kind of a wake-up call. Like, we were playing really well, and then it was kind of a wake-up call to Ho.
I hold my head up just enough to see the sky.
Come on, Super Sonic! Be super!
When I couldn't be the god that I was, you guys came back and scored a goal. I'd let one in, you guys would score 2 goals. I'd let one in, you guys would score 3 goals.
But any swagger or thoughts of running the table on opening day crashes hard as they lose their third game against the Perpetual Motion Squad. Did they fly too close to the sun on wings of wax, or was this really the game they needed to stay close to the ground?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little upset that we kept winning because it meant our days were longer and longer, and after a certain point, my lungs couldn't take it anymore. I wanted it to be over. I'm not saying I threw the last game, but
Championship Sunday brings about the first real test for Super Sonic. If they were going to build on last year's performance to truly become the team they want to be, they had to win their first playoff game. Unfortunately, they're down one player. Dave is struck down with self-inflicted alcohol-related injuries. Paul is called in to suit up and performs admirably in Dave's place.
I don't know, I wasn't there. What happened? I slept in. I was exhausted. It was hot Saturday. Maybe I didn't hydrate enough. Or stretch. Or both.
At the end of the day, when the final whistle is blown, Super Sonic achieves yet another milestone. They win their first playoff game. Only in the wildest dreams of those who have worn the Sonic mantle in the past did a playoff win even seem feasible. Well, now it has.
I've had some wild dreams, but I've never had a dream so wild as winning our first playoff game in street hockey.
Now it has happened. Those ghosts of the past, those giants, now have new heroes to welcome into the lore that is Supersonic.
I'm committed. You committed, Rick?
Yes. Still sore.
For this year's team has stood on the shoulders of giants.
Almost an almost hat trick for Rick Lee, which is amazing.
Yeah, you didn't want to play the next game, didn't you? Let's talk about that.